Right, today I'm going to rant for a short time, hopefully, about two things that have been in the news today, this morning. Today is the 18th of December, I think. It's Monday. Now, on the news this morning, there was news about a young man, Liam Allan, from Croydon, and there was news about a young Iranian refugee. His name was Bijan Ebrahimi. Bijan Ebrahimi was beaten to death earlier this year, but the case has just been all finalised today. Bijan Ebrahimi, an Iranian refugee, was living in Bristol area, and he was wrongly accused by the community of being a sex offender. Word spread, you can imagine, like wildfire. So word spread, and people in the community decided to start taking matters into their own hands. So over a period of weeks and months, Bijan spoke to the council, in his Bristol City Council, and he spoke to Avon and Somerset Police, and he spoke about being assaulted, he spoke about being harassed, he spoke about all sorts of stuff, and he was dismissed out of hand. Institutional racism. And then it came to a head when his next door neighbour assaulted him, beat him to death, and set him on fire because they suspected that he was a sex offender, a paedophile. The truth of the matter is that he was completely innocent. He had never been convicted or even charged of any such thing. Okay, now the other thing, Liam Allan, the other guy that was in the news this morning, 22 years old, a student, criminology student, though I don't suppose that's relevant. He was accused of rape, and he was facing 12 years in jail, a lifetime on the sex offenders register. It's a very visceral thing, isn't it? Child offence, child abuse and rape. So it turns out the police had decided not to bother looking through 40,000 text and WhatsApp messages on the alleged victim's phone that actually exonerated the defendant, Liam Allan. And they talked about how they'd had consensual sex, talked about how she pestered him for sex. And yet, she, for some reason that nobody understands, decided to try to accuse him of rape and bring him to court and accuse him of rape. Although on the occasions that she said she raped him, there were messages on her phone to her pals saying that it was consensual. And one specifically said it wasn't in any way forced, it was completely consensual. Now, these two things have got two things in common. First of all, you've got the vigilantism aspect of it in the first one there with Bijan, because it's a sexual offence, supposedly, right? And people go off half-cocked when it's a sexual offence, especially if it's supposed to be paedophiles. Now, I understand that, right? I'm a father, I had a little girl, I understand, right? But we've got to be careful, friends, right? Do you remember, this is not an urban myth. The other story years ago down in Brighton, where a mob went to a paediatrician's house and started throwing bricks at it because they thought that the paediatrician was someone who sex offended against children, just ill-informed. Went off on a hair trigger because it's a sex offence, right? So there's Bijan Ebrahim guy, wrongly accused, but the other thing that it's got in common there is that it's a sex offence, or alleged sex offence. The other thing was that the police completely ignored him. Institutional racism. With Liam Allan, now, he's a white guy, right? So there's no racism there. But similarly, it's an alleged sex offence that never took place. But also, the police completely abandoned him and threw him to the dogs, withholding evidence that eventually exonerated him. Now, this court case was hanging over his head for 2 years. 2 years. And he's 22 years old. Imagine the misery this young man's been living in. So what's my conclusion? It's hard to say. I welcome comments, okay? I welcome comments. But what can I say? What can I conclude? We need to keep our powder dry. We need to behave like rational human beings. And vigilantism is not the answer. We're supposed to be a sophisticated democracy, right? We're supposed to lead the world. That's what we say to all the countries that we bomb. So, each and every one of us, not just the lefties, not just the socialists, but all of us, we need to cool our jets, all right? We need to pull our neck in, and we need to be rational, sensible, and careful when it comes to alleged sex offences. And we need to remember this one thing, this pillar of Western democratic justice. You are innocent until you are proven guilty. Peace out, friends.